Police Academy didn't become a hit by being clever. It became a hit by being impossible to control. A police force so desperate for recruits, it opened the doors and comedies stormed in. But behind the sound effects, the pile-ups, and the non-stop chaos, this wasn't just a movie that worked. It slipped the leash, a cast that almost reshaped the entire film, a director fighting for laughs while the ranch kept creeping closer, and a hit that refused to stay contained, spreading far beyond the screen. These are 10 weird facts about Police Academy, where disorder became the design and noise turned into something unstoppable. Number 1. Police Academy didn't walk into 1984 like a future hit. It stumbled in like a troublemaker nobody wanted to claim. Critics tore it apart for being loud, broad, and shamelessly silly. Some even hit it from the opposite angle, saying it wasn't outrageous enough. Producer Paul Maslansky later remembered hearing complaints that it needed more vulgarity, more shock. But director Hugh Wilson was trying to pull it the other way, trimming the sleaziest material and leaning on character chaos instead of pure gross-out. Then Roger Ebert dropped the hammer. 0 stars. Not bad, not messy. 0. He basically treated it like something adults weren't meant to watch or even review. That kind of dismissal matters because it tells the industry one thing: don't build around this. Let it open, let it die, move on. And Warner Brothers seemed to agree. The studio didn't bet big. They cut the budget, tightened the schedule, and treated the whole thing like a quick experiment that would disappear quietly. No big plan, no franchise talk, no confidence that this world had legs. Cast members have said the vibe was clear. Do the movie, take the check, don't expect a second chapter. Then, opening weekend hit, and the crowd didn't care about any of that. Police Academy opened number 1, ripped past expectations, and kept selling tickets. It ended up around $81.2 million domestic, and roughly $149.8 million worldwide, and it even became the biggest comedy of the year in West Germany. Suddenly, the throwaway was paying real bills. Steve Guttenberg later joked, they went from forgotten to franchised overnight. That's how this series was born. Not from prestige, not from critics, from people lining up, laughing anyway, and forcing Hollywood to admit the truth. If the audience adopts it, the studio follows. Number 2. Police Academy wasn't born in a comedy writer's room. It was born on a serious movie set from one real moment that felt too strange to ignore. In the early 1980s, producer Paul Maslansky was in San Francisco working on The Right Stuff, a film built on discipline, heroism, and elite perfection. During a street shoot, a group of police cadets arrived to help with crowd control. Maslansky watched them step off the buses and did a double take. They did not look like Hollywood cops. They looked like regular people, young and older, athletic and not, confident and painfully awkward. A mix of faces and body types that felt more like a random crowd than a hardened unit. And standing next to a production about the Mercury 7, that contrast landed like a punchline with no joke attached yet. So Maslansky asked the supervising officer what was going on. The officer explained it like it was normal. The mayor had recently changed policy to broaden who could enter the police academy. More applicants had to be accepted. The door was open wider now. Then the officer added the line that changed everything, but we can always flunk them out later. That was the spark, because Maslansky immediately saw the comedy hiding inside the system, not in the cadets themselves, in the institution that opened the gates, then assumed it could quietly undo the consequences afterward. He flipped it with one question: what if they did not get flunked out? That night, Maslansky wrote a treatment built around the premise, a police force forced to train and tolerate recruits who were never supposed to make it. Not criminals, not rebels, just ordinary people trying to survive an absurd machine. When screenwriter Neil Israel came in, the idea only got sharper. He had seen real training up close and recognized the same truth Maslansky did. The funniest parts were already in reality. You just had to frame them. Maslansky took the concept to Alan Ladd Jr., writers were brought in, and the movie leaned into the real punchline. The recruits were not the joke, the system was. And that is how an astronaut epic about perfection accidentally gave birth to chaos. Number 3. Police Academy feels like it arrived fully formed, like Mahoney and Lassard were always going to be those exact faces. But early on, the movie was quietly building a cast that could have pushed the whole franchise into a totally different reality. Start with Mahoney. Before Steve Guttenberg ever flashed that grin, the role was bouncing through names that now sound unreal. Michael Keaton was an early favorite, then scheduling pulled him away just a few years before he became Batman. Casting widened fast. Bruce Willis auditioned while he was still fighting to break into movies. Tom Hanks was reportedly offered the part and passed. None of them were icons yet, which is what makes it spooky. Looking back, it reads like a roll call of alternate timelines. Then Guttenberg walked in, and the tone clicked. His connection wasn't just charm, it was personal. His father had been a real New York City police officer, and the weight of that job had lived inside their home. For his screen test, Guttenberg showed up wearing his father's actual police shirt with the New York Police Academy insignia stitched on the shoulder, not a gimmick, a quiet signal that he understood the world the movie was about to mock. That detail helped shape Mahoney into something specific. A rebel, yes, but not cruel. A guy who needles the system without making the whole movie mean. And the near misses didn't stop there. Commandant Lassard almost went to Leslie Nielsen. He turned it down. And a few years later, he basically played a cousin of Lassard in The Naked Gun. It's the kind of casting fork in the road that makes you realize how fragile this franchise was in the beginning. Different faces would have meant different chemistry, different rhythm, different movie. But the doors closed, the no's piled up, and Police Academy ended up with the exact combination that turned chaos into comfort food comedy.